today we're doing a Q&A for my album, Reintroduction. So I posted on my story some questions y'all had for the album, and y'all responded, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Before we start, if you haven't downloaded my album, make sure you go download it right now. It's called Reintroduction, and it's on all streaming platforms. All right, so we got the questions in the cup, and we're just going to see at random what questions we get. So this question says, what's the difference between this album and previous albums? Well, this album, we'll just start from the very beginning. My solo album was my first album ever. And that was really just me showing just an array of different types of genres I can do. You know, it was some R&B, it was some dancing vibes. And then after that, all my albums was kind of like heartbreak, really sad, really on some Summer Walker-esque vibe. So this album is totally different from anything I've ever done because I'm in a different space. It's love, it's feel good, it's just a whole different vibe. So I would say it's different in that aspect. And secondly, this is the first album I've done that's been produced by one producer. So I've never had an album that was totally produced by one person. So that's probably why this album also has a different feel to it, because it all just flows together. Did you write all of your songs on your album? Yes. I write all of my music. Yeah, I write all my music. But yeah, every song on this album was written by me. I penned it all. Next question. How long did it take to make this album? That's an interesting question because when I was recording songs, at first I wasn't recording it this is about to be an album. I didn't even have a name for it or anything. It was just Cream was making me these beats, and I was like, I like the vibe this put me in. So it probably started with just 3 or 4 songs, and it was just going to be EP. But then he kept making me beats, and it just kept growing from there. So I would say it probably took me about a year. You say a year? Yeah, it took me about a year. And that wasn't because I wasn't just in album mode. I was just putting songs together, and I looked up and I'm like, I like this, I'm gonna put this album out. So it took me about a year. Next question. Which song did you expect to get the most interaction? I expected, it was 3 songs I expected. It was either Highlander, Say Love, and Reintroduction. But out of those 3, I would say Highlander and Say Love was my top 2 that I was I hope they like these 2. But I thought they was going to get the most interaction. Definitely for sure Highlander. And it has been. So that's a good feeling to know that I thought it was going to get the best interaction, and it actually did. Next. What is your actual answer to who are you? Now that is a juicy question. So my answer now to who are you, it's kind of funny because the reason why I even named the album Reintroduction is because, like I said, I didn't release an album for 4 years. And out of those 4 years, 2 of those years, I moved to Atlanta. And like I said in the intro, my goals have changed. My mindset is different. Before, when I say I put my heart, my soul, every dime, tears, bloodshed into wanting to be an artist. I just wanted to be an artist. Not so much I wanted to be famous, but I just wanted to be signed and, just be the artist that y'all see on TV, the artist that y'all be so pressed about. That's really what I wanted. And when I came to a realization that this isn't what I want anymore, and when that happened, I really didn't know who I was. I really thought, damn, if I'm not Chantel Soleil, then who am I? If I'm not striving to be this artist, I've been doing this for the past 5+ years. Who am I? So it really took me a year to even get to the understanding of who I was. So that's a great question. And before I even answer it, what I came to understand is you're a different person in different phases of your life. As soon as I found out who I was, I found out I was pregnant. So now I have to relearn who I am. And I thought, I knew who I was, but now I'm about to be a mother. I'm about to be, someone totally different. So it's you have to learn who you are in each aspect of your life. And it's okay if who you are changes at different times in who you are, because we never should stay the same. So it's always good to change. So now I'm not just an artist. I'm not just a singer. I'm a wife. I'm a mother to be. And I come to realize that who I am is not based on my outside circumstances. You know, I'm a loving person. I'm reliable. The biggest thing of who I am was I thought that everything was like compartmentalized. Like, okay, I'm a singer. Okay, I'm a business owner. Okay, well, I do art. Okay, well, I am Chantel, but I'm also Tiffany. When it's like, it's not just one thing that I am. I am all of those things. I'm nice. I'm sweet, but I'm also can be mean, and I can be feisty. I can be stern, but I'm also soft spoken. So it's like, it's a lot to who I am, and I've learned that. And it's still a hard question for me to answer, because there's still so many aspects to who I am that, I mean, even now I'm still learning. Being pregnant I'm still learning new things about who I am. So I can't give the best answer to that, but all in all, I'm not who I used to be. I'm getting to learn who I am more and more every day, if that answers the question. What's your creative process? For me, I'm not a person that writes without a beat. That's just not happening. Like Preem, he write without a beat all the time. Now that you're looking at him like, I'll wait for the beat, sir. But like in this whole process, Preem was just sending me beats. Like I'll be in the kitchen cooking, and like 90s R&B, I was in the kitchen cooking, and he was like, yo, come listen to this beat. Went to the studio to listen to it, and I'm like, oh. Went back to the kitchen and wrote the whole hook and everything, mainly the whole song while I was cooking. So that's kind of how a lot of the songs were. My process is just, I hear the beat. I don't necessarily write how I'm feeling and then just try to push it onto the beat. I listen to the beat and I try to hear, it's hard to explain, the words that are already in the beat, kind of like what the beat is kind of not so much telling me to write. But my creative process for this album was different, because it wasn't like, oh, I got so much to say, so much to get off my chest, so I'm about to just pen it so they can hear me. It was just more like, it was really magical. Like the way he made the beats, it was just like, oh no, I have to take my time and I have to write something that is like a masterpiece. So I really took my time with this album. I really took my time with the writing process. Even with the singing process, it was just like, I'm not rushing. Like even in the studio when I was recording, I'm looking at Preem like, is that good? Like, does that sound okay? And he like, no, like that's fire. Like you got to keep that. So that was a process. And honestly, me and Preem are a great team. So it's like we bounce off each other all the time. So he's a big part of my process as well. Not just from the beat to him just hearing like what I have been working on, like just hear this verse or just hear this bar I just wrote. And then to even the recording process, it's like, it's a team effort. So, I mean, yes, I'm writing it, but it's definitely like a 50-50 shared process. Next question. What was your favorite song to make on this project and why? I feel like it was Say Love, because I wrote Say Love, right? And I was always supposed to come back to finish that song. Like I literally was like, okay, he sent me the beat. I was like, I got something to this. Okay, I'm about to just write. Because it was so good. Like the beat was so good. It was so pretty. I was like, no, it has to be like a beautiful arrangement. Like it has to be just like a masterpiece. So I wrote like the first part of the verse. First part of the hook. And some of the verse, I said, let me go lay this down. So we laid it down. It was always just supposed to be like a reference, like just like the first take, like it wasn't supposed to be the final cut, anything. So I'm in there, I'm singing. I didn't have the other half of the hook, and I just was singing what came to me. So all in all, Say Love is only one take. I never went back to do layers. I never went back to fix anything. I never went back to add more stuff to it, even though I kind of wanted to. But I feel like that was my favorite song because I kind of let the beat breathe. Like, it was so beautiful. And that song I could really say was like almost like a love letter to him, to Preem. And I didn't want to mess it up. Like, I wanted it to be just a beautiful, like, ballad to just express, like, how beautiful our love is. And I feel like Say Love does it. So I feel like that was, like, the most perfect song. And the most fun for me to make because it just has a special place in my heart. Okay. What was the first and last song you had done on the album? Let's see. The first song I had done, was it 90s R&B? Yeah, the first song I had was 90s R&B. which is why y'all got the single. I mean, 90s R&B was the very first song. Like I said, I was in the kitchen cooking. And the last song I had done on the album was Hear Me Out, the outro. I've re-recorded that song so many times because I just had to get it right. At first I rapped it and I was like, I'm not feeling this. And I found a different beat that Preem had for me. So Who Are You was on a few different beats. So that was the very last song, and I decided to add that last minute. But first and last song, 90s R&B, and Who Are You, the outro.
Hear Me Out.
I meant Hear Me Out, the outro. Last question. Which song did you expect to get the least interaction? Robert, on that topic, I expected Hear Me Out to get the least interaction. One, because it's the last song on the album. And this sounds very pessimistic, but I don't expect people to listen to the whole album. I shouldn't say that. But if I'm keeping it a buck, I just didn't expect people to listen to the whole album. I really didn't. But surprisingly, a lot of people did listen to Hear Me Out, and it was kind of like, oh, I did not think y'all was going to hear that, but they heard it. But yeah, I thought that was the least one because, like I said, it was the last one I added, and I was hesitant to add it because I felt like, one, it didn't really match the flow of the rest of the songs. But I added it because it went with the intro. Like, I don't talk a lot about, what goes on behind the scenes, behind the business, things like that. I don't really like to just put that negativity out there talking about people because I'm not with all that talking and all the drama on social media. I'm just not with all that. So Hear Me Out, I was just like, no, this needs to be said. I need to get this off my chest. I want the people to know why things have been so hard for me over the past few years. I want people to know why I've changed so much, not just letting them hear, oh, the good side, oh, lovey-dovey music. Like, no. So when I made Hear Me Out, it's just like, this is why I was struggling so hard to find out who I was. This is why I made the album, because in the end, these are the things that made me. So, like I said, I thought Hear Me Out was going to get the least interaction, and the people who listened to it was like, yo, I hear you. Like, I hear you. And that meant a lot to me. So, those are all the questions that y'all gave me. And thank y'all so much for, the questions y'all asked. And for everyone who's been taking time to tune into the album, it means so much to me. Y'all have given me so much good feedback. And keep streaming it, keep sharing it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with me. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
I'm really bout it. I got the pen to make you scream and shout. Don't really care about how you feel about me. My music really turn you out.